what's up? It's your boy Rawk. God fucking damn it! I was just watching the reveal trailer for Bread Rebirth and it looked incredible. Nice spongy base, perfectly crispy crust, but then they revealed that it wasn't coming out in PAL territories. F this! But that got me thinking, what other great games never came out in my neck of the woods? And more importantly, who's behind it? And after having that thought roughly 14 seconds ago, I have still yet to take action. So I think it's about time I get down and dirty with good old Wikipedia. I got nothing. Which really blows. There has to be somebody out there who knows about the lunacy of localization. Really, anybody!
Hi, welcome to the Localisation Appreciation Station, your one-stop shop for shit nobody cares about. Tonight's story, video games, and as if that wasn't worth not caring about on its own, tonight we're accepting calls from you lovely viewers out there. It's lonely around here.
This guy sounds familiar.
So fellas, specifically those who are baffled by the fact that Bread Rebirth is exclusive to the States, let me lay out a relatable situation for you. You just got back home after a long, hard day of work.
You've lost me.
And all you want to do is sit back, relax, and play your Wii.
Sounds a bit more like me, but you're still missing something.
And you're lonely because your opinion doesn't matter and you own Chibi Robo.
That's me!
You walk over to your nearest local game collection with a hankering to play Wii chess, but then you realize the game didn't release in your region. That stings!
But wait a minute, I can play Wii chess. I just choose not to.
Now that we've set the scene, that's all I've got. So I'd like to invite one of our 7 active viewers to offer their takes. You fuckers better come through. Oh, we have a live one.
I eat virginity for breakfast. Please hear me out.
British.
Guys, watch! Cool party trick. I'm gonna bring this piece of Japanese media to the rest of the world. And when I say the rest of the world, I don't mean it. Localization is a necessary part of the development of any game, and a lot of times, it's just as big a task as the rest of the development process. With games moving to be more story-centric and text-heavy, reworking them to fit into the standards of different regions, it's a huge process. Which is why a lot of the times, companies don't bother.
Localization is so interesting to me, but nobody ever seems to talk about it. People are just content with the fact that Mario Strikers is called Mario Smash Football in the UK, and I'm sick of it! But that changes today, because I found a talk show that meets my exact needs. The host didn't really seem to want to talk to me, but I'm not gonna take no for an answer. Watch. So what exactly is up with that cow?
God damn it, go away, I don't want you as a guest speaker.
So I dusted off Wii chess for nothing?
You mean the game I specifically said I couldn't play, which was the catalyst for the mental breakdown that led to me hosting the show?
I'm sorry, I just can't imagine a life without this thing. What's that like?
It's a living hell. It's like drinking lemonade and realizing it's infused with rat poison.
Is there rat poison-free lemonade?
In America, there is.
God, that must be hell. Is there a cure?
I don't know. But talking about stuff no one cares about helps sometimes.
Well then, let's talk about some region-exclusive games!
Welcome to the show.
Now, last time I talked about this stuff, I discussed pretty general topics. Changing box arts and names across regions, Animal Crossing doing regional circus tricks, and a couple of games that were regional exclusives. But today, I really want to hone in on the latter, because regional exclusive games are absolutely fascinating to me. The thought that I own games that the Ohioans can't play is mesmerizing. My hands have touched games that American eyes can only dream of. Like Wii Chess! Wii Chess released in PAL regions in January of 2008, and it was the only game in the Wii series of games to not receive a worldwide release. Now, to be fair, it did receive a WiiWare release in Japan under the name Tsushin Taikyoku World Chess. It wasn't officially part of the Wii series over there, but hey, it was the same game in a language that I couldn't tell you to fuck off in. Was there any legitimate reason that this game only stained PAL regions? No. This was a Nintendo-helmed project. They could have very easily released this game in the States, but they didn't feel like it. Maybe because it's not that good.
Damn it, man, why do you have to keep talking about Wii Chess?
I'm sorry, this is my net worth. I have to flaunt it.
Don't you have any other examples? Guess I'll take the reins for a bit then, because here in the States we have quite a few games that never made it across seas, and for the sake of consistency, let's stick with the Wii for the time being. Kirby Dream Collection is the only legitimate collection that the franchise has ever seen, and it released in celebration of its 20th anniversary. This collection released here in America and over in Japan, but it never made it to Europe. The reason for this is completely unknown. A lot of people reached out to Nintendo of Europe to ask about it, and they were hit with the classic "we have nothing to announce" shtick. Imagine getting cock-blocked by Nintendo of Europe. The only reason I can imagine for this not releasing is that it was a late-life Wii title releasing in 2012, and a lot of times Nintendo doesn't think it's worthwhile to release late-life games across all regions. Counterpoint, 2012 was the year of localization. The Project Rainfall trilogy finally released outside of Japan this year, being Xenoblade Chronicles, Pandora's Tower, and The Last Story, and it was also the year that New Play Control Pikmin 2 finally came out in the States, so why would Kirby's Dream Collection be an exception to this? And what's even weirder than this is Mario Super Sluggers, a sequel to Mario Superstar Baseball. This game came out in 2008 in America and Japan, but it never came to Europe. Why? They had 4 years to think about the consequences of their actions, and they stuck to their guns, those stubborn bitches.
Yeah, Kirby's Dream Collection borders on understandable. Even if it came out in the year of localization, it was just a collection. But Mario Super Sluggers was a brand new game, so what gives?
If I know!
Now, in PAL regions, we don't really have a great deal of exclusive games. I mean, we have Dr. Kawashima's Brain Training for Nintendo Switch.
You have what?
Yeah, in 2020, we got a new Brain Training game that didn't make its way to the States, and I don't know why. I mean, of course, there's still potential for it to release before the console gets cremated. Maybe the Switch will have its own year of localization. But with the Switch releasing in an era where worldwide releases are industry standard, that feels pretty weird. Every single first-party Switch game released on the same day in the UK, the US, and Japan. But this one? Don't be so fucking entitled. Brain Training is better than that, damn it. But come on. Was the US just not ready for a new Brain Training game? They haven't been the same as a nation since 2012's little incident. I mean, at least it's not one of Nintendo's biggest franchises getting the short end of the stick. At least Metroid Dread wasn't exclusive to Australia. But that makes this even more pointless! Why the hell are you gonna go out of your way to ensure that only the nation that spells color with a U is entitled to Brain Training when most of the population stopped caring about this series a few hours after it came out anyway? Sure, Brain Training on the DS was a pretty big deal, but 95% of the user base of that system was grandmas. Other than that, we don't really have any notable exclusive games over here. I mean, Project Zero Maiden of Blackwater didn't get a physical release in the States, but it sure did over here. That did wonderful things for us. But outside of these games, I got nothing, man.
I mean, that's not necessarily true. One of the most obvious games to jump to that didn't come to the States is Doshin the Giant.
It's pronounced Doshin.
I don't care.
You should.
One of the only things this game is known for is the fact that none of its 3 separate physical releases ever made it to the States, but not many people actually know why. You see, the States has its own equivalent of Doshin the Giant, a game that released over here and is one thing we'll forever have over you British bastards, that being Cubivore Survival of the Fittest.
Good God! I was feeling good about living in a pro-Doshin nation, but you guys will always have Cubivore against us. But never Starfy!
Uh-oh.
What?
You didn't get the memo, huh?
Don't tell me.
Yeah, we got Starfy too, bud.
Where does the lunacy end?
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, we only got one of the 5 games in the franchise.
That does actually make me feel better, yeah.
Selfish son of a bitch. The original Starfy game, known as Densetsu no Starfy, was planned for the Game Boy Color but ended up getting scrapped. But humanity can rest easy because it was reworked for the Game Boy Advance. Damn it. This was a Kirby-esque 2D platformer, and it ended up getting 2 more sequels on the GBA and another on the DS. It took until the second DS entry in the series for it to finally make its way outside of Japan, that being the legendary Starfy, but surprise surprise, it didn't make its way to Europe. This isn't a huge deal because the DS is one of the few Nintendo systems to not be region-locked, so you can still have the pleasure of Starfy, my transatlantic friend.
You see, I did know that, so I actually ended up importing a copy of Starfy the other day. So f*** you, Nintendo! I can play Starfy without your permission!
You're holding a copy of Chibi Robo Park Patrol.
Oh, son of a bitch!
Chibi Robo has been absolutely abused by the UK government. They never let him in here! Chibi Robo Park Patrol was the first sequel to the GameCube classic. Originally released in Japan on July 6, 2007, it made its way over to the States roughly 3 months later on October 2nd, 2007, and it made its way to PAL regions on...
Release date TBD.
Yup, this game never made it to the UK, which isn't unlike the sequel to this sequel, that fans have coined as Chibi Robo Clean Sweep, and also not unlike the new Play Control release of the original Chibi Robo, but very unlike Park Patrol, these two games didn't even make it to America. F*** words and anything that uses them.
Come to think of it, Japan gets all of the games, whereas in the UK and US, we just get their table scraps. I guarantee you can't think of a game that didn't release in Japan, but did release here. They don't exist!
Is this a challenge?
I guess?
Boom, Hollow Knight. Next question.
Okay, well, that must be a rare exception.
Diablo 2.
Okay.
Psychonauts.
But-
Shantae Half Genie Hero.
I get it.
Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Okay, fine! You've made your point. I'm wrong. Jesus Christ.
No, I fully agree with you.
Then what the f*** was the point in that?
Funny. So many games that came out in Japan were never localized for the rest of the world. Stuff like Nintendo Puzzle Collection, a GameCube compilation of Dr. Mario, Puzzle League, and Yoshi's Cookie. This game actually has one of the most recent versions of Puzzle League, and we aren't legally allowed to play it.
Who said anything about legal?
Also, The Legend of Zelda 4 Swords Adventures did see a worldwide release, but the Japanese version has an entire side game called Navi Trackers. The reason it didn't make the cut in the rest of the world is because it was fully voice acted. Those lazy bastards thought they could get away with not bringing this mode to the rest of the world, but any day now, the gamers are gonna revolt.
Wow, that really worked you up, didn't it?
Yeah, it's just... Navi Trackers really sets me off, okay? Anyway, did we miss anything?
I don't think so.
We covered Doshin the Giant.
Doshin the Giant.
Still don't care. Starfy, Brain Training, Chibi Robo. You seem like you want to say something, and you can, after I say Mario Super Sluggers and Kirby's Dream Collection.
King Earthbound!
The first Mother game released on the Famicom on July 27th, 1989, and it never made its way to the rest of the world. But Nintendo actually ended up sitting on a full English translation for decades. They could have released it, but they decided to be complete pricks and hold on to it. Or at least that was the case until June 14th, 2015, where it was released on the Wii U Virtual Console as Earthbound Beginnings. It finally got a worldwide release, and I was able to sleep well that night. The only real reason for Nintendo not releasing the translated version before then is that it would have been pretty costly to release a text-heavy RPG on the NES when its predecessor was already on the market. Nintendo kind of realized, yeah, it wasn't worth it. So they made a sequel instead. What are you gonna do about it, bitch? Mother 2, known as Earthbound outside of Japan. This game released on the Super Famicom in Japan in 1994, and it made its way stateside in 1995. This is a huge improvement, and more than likely stems from the fact that the SNES wasn't in a coffin yet. They wouldn't have taken a loss releasing this title because the console was still alive and well. And this proves to me definitively that Nintendo hates Europe passionately. Earthbound never made its way to my neck of the woods. The English translation was done, the SNES was still kicking, but Nintendo wants us to go ourselves. Which, by the way, was the exact same fate that Super Mario RPG suffered. Don't even get me started on that. The first time Earthbound graced a PAL console was 2013 on the Wii U Virtual Console, which is a lot less excusable than Earthbound Beginnings, because again, this game had already released in English. But Earthbound was on the SNES Mini, so my complaints are null and void!
Nintendo knows exactly how to shut me the f*** up!
That's probably a good thing, actually, because we are getting close to our allotted time for this show.
I'm not done, bitch!
Mother 3 began development on the Super Famicom the same year Mother 2 released. It eventually made its way to the Nintendo 64 and was poised to be a 3D RPG known as Earthbound 64, sticking to Nintendo's tradition of denying the existence of maths. This version of the game ended up being scrapped and reworked for the GBA, back to being a 2D RPG. They sacrificed a D, that's how you know things were going downhill. After spending 12 years in development hell, Mother 3 finally released in Japan in 2006 and made its way to the rest of the world.
When?
Never! That's when!
This game still hasn't made its way outside of Japan. And ever since Reggie Fils-Aimé became the president of Nintendo of America the same year as this game's Japanese release, this smug son of a bitch has been poking fun at the fact that this game will never make its way over here. Reggie, I love you, but I gotta ask, why? There's no reason to not localize this game, especially since everybody and their uncle has been screaming for it to happen for over a decade. Nintendo, listen to Terry Crews. He knows what he's doing, and you apparently fucking don't.
Well, that was interesting, but I still can't help but be pissed about Wii Chess. I need stronger stuff.
Well then why stop there? Let's keep this hype train rolling by talking about translation errors in games.
That's genius! It's the stupidest shit I've ever heard! Well folks, that's all the time we have left for this episode of the Localization Appreciation Station. Make sure to tune in next time when we talk about chairs that never made it outside of Italy. It'll be riveting.
I can't wait! When does it air?
Well, you swore so much that you've made broadcasting in the UK a massive liability for this show, so the producers are probably gonna have to figure out how we want to keep this thing running without losing all of our funding. Also, you're definitely not gonna be allowed back on the show again, so I hope you cherished your television debut.
I couldn't help it, I just get so passionate about localization!
Fun excuse. Still bannable. But the next episode is supposed to air in a couple of weeks, so I'll keep you updated.
Thanks! It's been an absolute honor to be a part of the first and only TV show I've ever watched.
The honor was all yours, pal. Now go the hell away.
Well, I was about to head for some life-saving surgery, but that can wait, damn it! I'm about to watch the newest episode of the Localization Appreciation Station. I've waited so many minutes for this. I fucking region locked myself!